If you start now, this time next year, you'll be able to do this.
Before I got in touch, before we jumped on our first call, before we started, where were you at?
So before we met, I've been training gyms for 20 odd years. I've gone up and down in my weight, in my fitness. I've done a lot of mixed martial arts. I've done so many different things, but I always kept going back to uh, putting on weight, comfort eating. I think I was any coaches that I worked with before were always it was always 12-week challenges, chicken rice, repeat, chicken rice, broccoli, rinse, repeat over and over again. Then once a week, and then you're left to your own devices. Before we met, I was going through a divorce. I'd been in an unhappy marriage. I was traveling the country doing loads of work, spent most of my time isolated in hotel rooms, therefore eating, having a bottle of wine, delivery, all that kind of stuff, and finding any excuse not to really go to the gym. Started a journey myself. I realized that I was 25 and a half stone. I was uncomfortable all the time. I was miserable all the time. Tired all the time, didn't have time for my kids. So I know what I needed to do, but I didn't have any guidance. And that was before we could. And I lost a little bit of weight, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't necessarily sustainable. There was still the urge to gorge when I had those. If I wasn't training, I was taught for a long period of time that training, you got 6 days a week where you're training hard and you eat only chicken, rice, and broccoli, or whatever, fish, rice, and broccoli, or all the variations of that, those three things. And then on Saturday night or Sunday, you can eat whatever the fuck you want, and eating loads and loads and loads of shit. Every time I wasn't training, my mindset was, you're not training, you can eat whatever you want. I sort of found myself in a kind of eating disorder as such. Someone popped up in my inbox and saved the day.
And then and then your life got worse ever since. What have been like your specific results since joining the team?
I think since joining the team, there's a great community there. There's a great having that group chat that we can talk to each other in and support each other in, even if you don't need it that day. Knowing it's there is a massive help for one. You've been instrumental in changing my mindset around food. I can eat what I want, but as long as it's within reason, right? As long as I'm hitting my macros, you haven't given me a strict diet of this, and this. Prep your food on a Sunday, and then by Wednesday you're eating dry as fuck chicken with minging rice and soggy broccoli. And it's not that I enjoy food. Plus, I'm also traveling a lot around the country. I'm driving in my van and whatever, and sometimes I have to stop at services. And sometimes the only thing open because I'm late is a KFC. I can work that into my routine. I don't have to miss out on socials. I don't have to carry around Tupperware with food in it all the time. The gym is no problem for me. I've always loved the gym. I love that space. But being able to see the progress in the gym because of the foundation of the food and nutrition and being happy whilst doing it is a new experience. I know you tell people what to do, but you give people the freedom to be able to explore that with you and explore what's right for them rather than going, this is what you have to do, because that just makes people push back. You're different in that sense. You explore what works for you and how is this going to fit into your lifestyle. Yes, you can go out and have a drink if you want and you're social, but drink this instead and make sure you have this beforehand, and that'll aid you and try and get back on the boat as quick as possible. It's been a complete transition of mindset, and because of that mindset, the gym progress is getting better, which gives me a high level of confidence, and that's all because of the team and working with yourself.
Beautiful, mate. And this year you've been sitting at like that 90, 98 kilo, 97.5 kilo mark. Mate, you look insane at that body weight. When was the last time you sort of sat at this area at 97 kilo?
I was last around this under 100 kilos was when I was doing Muay Thai. Mondays were my day off. I would go and train in the gym, weights, and I'd do an hour cardio. Then I would do swim. Then I would go and do an hour private Muay Thai, an hour private jiu-jitsu. Then I would go back, eat a whole thing of chicken from a whole rotisserie chicken from Sainsbury's and watch UFC. Then we would go back in the evening to Fightworks and do an hour class session of Muay Thai and an hour class session of Jiu-Jitsu. And that was just my Monday. The rest of the week, 5 days a week, I would go to the gym beforehand. I would do an hour gym, hour cardio before work. And then I'd say probably 3 or 4 nights out of the week, I would be at some form of martial arts. I was around the same weight-ish that I am now, but I was not muscular. I was not defined. I was sort of a bit skinny fat. I was probably 25 then, so nearly 20 years ago. 25 years later at 42 and I'm chasing abs.
Back then, minimum 20 hours. Now you're training like 4 hours at most, not meal prepping, just
Yeah.
tracking what fits into your food. And yet you look 10 times better now and you're at the same body weight as you were at the age of 25.
10 times better, more. I'd say I have more clarity, mental clarity, because I think I was so exhausted all the time then. I was doing it because I loved it, right? And I was young and I was single and I could go, smash people about on the mats and whatever. Go to the gym and whatever. But it was a case of now it works into my lifestyle. I'm a single dad. I've got my own business. I'm traveling around the country, and 4 hours a week. I try and make things work for me. Getting steps in sometimes difficult, so I often work at a laptop now. So I've got a walking pad, and I do that when the kids are in bed. I've got no excuses, and I think that's the key. You help me with my the ability to limit the barriers, and push past them. And excuses only hurt ourselves. They don't hurt anyone else. Excuse, and whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're probably right. That old
Yeah.
saying. I think really, I believe that I can have abs now. I've always wanted to look. I mean, I've watched wrestling since I was about five. Always, that kind of, 90s, 2000 wrestling. They were sort of my idols. I wanted to look like that. I never believed I would.
If you were to describe the whole approach, the support, the communications, the group, the training to an absolute outsider has got no idea about what we do, how would you describe it?
Well, to anyone who's thinking about doing it or hasn't done it before, I would say this is different from anything you've ever experienced with a personal trainer in the gym. It is more tailored to your needs. It is they're there to help you. There's no judgment. It's not about bollocking you. You shouldn't feel scared. It's about going, well, if you can't do this, this is how we can get around it. What I'm catering something that's so I don't know how you do it. All the different people in the group, you cater something individually to all of them to fit their lifestyles, and you get results from everyone because not everyone needs the same thing, right? We're all individuals, and you realize that and act on it and put people down the right path that is right for them. And not everyone wants to be the same. Look, I want to look like a wrestler from 1990s. Some people just want to look lean as fuck and be fit as fuck, or some people just want to lose a couple of pounds, or whatever is fit into that dress or jeans or whatever it may be, and you cater to all of those things. It's not just a case of you being a strict bodybuilding coach where you just everyone, because I think some people are fearful of, if I go into a coach, am I just going to get massive? Is that what they want me to do? And it's not about that. It's about fitness and happiness of the individual. And I think that's what's so fantastic about you do. It's not two-dimensional, it's three-dimensional. You look into everyone's needs and purposes, whereas coaches in the past, I feel like you go to a PT, they're on their phone the whole hour, they're with you once a week, and they give you a generic, food sheet and a generic workout that everyone in the gym is doing exactly the same thing. And there's no real value in that. But with this, it's different.
There was someone on the other side of this video, they were sat on the fence and you were going to give him a bit of advice. What would you say?
I'd say do it for yourself, do it for your own mental health, do it for your own physical health. And the harder you work now, the easier life becomes in the future. If you start now, this time next year, you'll be able to do this.
Mate, best time to plant a tree was 25 years ago. Best time to plant a tree now is, well, now, isn't it? Mate.
Yeah. I'll just give you a brief example. My parents are now in their 70s and they both go to the gym every day and they keep themselves fit. And I know other people in their 70s that can't do the things that they can do. You wouldn't believe they're in the. And I think that is an inspiration for me as well. I think we kind of inspire both of us, my parents and myself, but that if you do the work now, it'll make life easier in your life moving forward.
Definitely.
Everything.
And I mean, mate, you've played a massive part in their health and fitness journey in the past year or so. And I think it's like the impact you do not expect from looking after yourself. You just radiate all around you, whether it's parents, kids, colleagues. When I say in the chat, a rising tide lifts all the boats, be the tide. Putting yourself first is exactly that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think some people think that putting yourself first is selfish, but you can't look after anyone else if you're fucked, can you? So
that's it. That's exactly it.